hate that these motherfuckers make it seem like I literally am like traveling the world to do sex tourism or some shit. Okay? Where's the crime? Give me the fucking crime. It's crime watch time. Okay.
Up on the just kind
Here's a chase happening.
As aggressive in a move that we've seen.
I'm going to play it on a delay because XQC is not live and I can't fucking watch him watch it. And I don't want to get banned, you know what I mean?
There when others were sitting still. So now we're starting to see a little bit more in the way of aggressive driving by this person. And see, now you're seeing an approach by officers quickly up on the just kind of the left rear of this person. So now they're moving in to the right, trying to pass another group on the right there. Again, using the right turn lane to get around here. We'll see if they try to continue on or actually make a right turn. So now an aggressive move through the intersection. You see one person yielding right of way, which is a smart move. But now you're starting to get into some traffic. And this driver is really doing the serpentine maneuver, trying to get in and out of traffic. Bruce Thomas is now with us. And Bruce, how do you approach this from law enforcement when the driver begins to change behavior?
Bro, homie has a Chevy Avalanche, dude. How the fuck's he going to get away? This car is on the... Bro, listen. Let's keep it a $150 here. This shit's about to break down, okay? Oh, it's over. It's Jover already. I'm looking at the other...
So those are some big questions to deal with right away.
No, he's gonna get fucking... He's gonna get absolutely destroyed, eviscerated. This car is dog shit, okay? He doesn't have... Oh, his tire is gone. It's Jover. It's Jover.
Now we've got it into oncoming traffic, and he's on the rim. So we did see some smoke earlier. We thought maybe the driver had hit a spike strip. And so now that he's going the other direction, we can see that. So this vehicle is going to be...
Yo, it's kind of wild how much they fucking throw spike strips in L.A., by the way. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's odd. Like, I thought that was like... That shit was like... You know, you gotta... You do that on, like... bumfuck nowhere, random ass like side streets or whatever. They just like rip them out.
We've lost him a little bit behind the building there, but again, that was some
aggressive. Bro, I'm hearing right now that the suspect actually didn't even get hit with a spike strip. It's just a byproduct of driving on LA streets after 3 months of rain. It turns out the streets are full of potholes. That's right. That is precisely what's going on here. It's just that he tried to drive his car down La Cienega Boulevard. Rocking in an avalanche. That car blew a tire coming off the lot. Yeah, literally. That's like the most dog shit car to fucking... the most dog shit car to fucking drive away from cops in. Anyway. We need a track to go with this police chase. You know the one. Okay. I'll fucking do it. God damn it. Here. You can't even see anything anymore. It's just like... The helicopter is like not doing a good job fucking chasing the homie. It's not good crime. This is like bad crime, honestly. By the way, this guy's a murder suspect. Oh, it's close to LAX. Ooh, that's smart, bro. Oh my God, I never even thought about that. Oh my God. Dude. That is literally 5-head strats. Drive near LAX so you can't have fucking helicopters constantly up your asshole. Helicopter can't follow into airspace. Go into a fucking parking lot and dump the vehicle, and then you're out. You're golden. I mean, they're up his ass right now. They're closely trailing him.
I mean, because the wheel is going to seize up and lock in a straight position. If he turns and it locks up and seizes, now you've got a wheel that's turned and you're going to be grinding that down very quickly. But what you're going to see law enforcement, what they're doing is they're already on the radio talking under mutual aid to agencies in the South Bay saying, hey, we're coming towards you. We may need your assistance on this, including airship, LA County's airship. And ultimately, they probably have their SWAT team already on standby just for the terminus of this pursuit.
Yeah, I was going to ask about SWAT team because we've now passed 104th Street there. As this slows down and as you are a little bit more deliberate in direction with this suspect, who again is a murder suspect, do your SWAT officers have an opportunity, yes, to get in front of this a little bit and start being maybe in a better position to respond very quickly as opposed to a high-speed chase? Well, here we go.
Is that 50cc Mario Kart? Yeah.
With only one front
What?
tire
It's still
with
hard.
rubber.
Shut up.
The rims are starting to show some damage there on that passenger front side as well. But again, back to the SWAT part, they're going to be in that area now, right? And much more able to respond very quickly when this ends.
You did not say it's still hard? Yes, it is. Mario Kart can still be very difficult, regardless of what speed it is, okay? Shut up.
TNT team, crisis negotiating team, and SWAT team, including the Bearcat vehicle, they're all probably being spun up at this point and being sent in that direction.
Bro, there's like bikers and shit. This is fucking terrifying.
And with a murder suspect, hopefully we always hope for the best, but you have to.
It's terrifying, but also it's so LA. Like, this kind of shit is such a normal part of living in Los Angeles that you just keep biking. You just keep biking through. You're like, yeah, oh, look at that. Another day, another fucking... Another day, another fucking police chase, dude. It's bananas. You see Chevrolet on a bumper from 5 miles away, and Hasanabi can't get a camera that stays in focus for 5 seconds. Wait, what? My camera is fine. How dare you?
It's in the South Bay area. We were at Westchester. We also were in Inglewood at one point. And this person, they are at where? LAX, did you say? We were listening to our producer. Yes, they continue to remain near LAX. And Bruce, that's behavior that is somewhat typical in that most chases will generally stay around the same space. Familiar for the driver.
Yeah,
or he's fucking five-head stratting it, and he doesn't want to get Air 1 coverage.
Geographic area that they may be a little more familiar with than just driving aimlessly. The police have run the registration on this truck to figure out where he or she lives, at least the registration address of the vehicle, and they're going to go to that residence also.
And Bruce, if this is a murder suspect and there is the possibility, some reports out there that this person is armed with a rifle, that would eliminate the possibility of a pit maneuver in a traditional manner, yes? Because, you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure the officers are not at risk, surrounding public not at risk, and something like that. What would the procedures be if they knew?
Okay, I take it back. I'm not going to lie. This fucking car is on its last legs before it got off the lot. You know what I mean? And it's doing a good fucking job so far. It is kind of surprising that Big Homie is able to keep it going for as long as he has.
Now you have an armed suspect, a high-grade felony armed suspect there, and you're putting those officers at risk.
Yeah, you gotta respect it. Oh. There's some interesting maneuvers that are going to happen in a second.
There is the possibility that this murder suspect, is armed. Officers are not going to stop pursuing, as you heard from Bruce.
It's not surprising. It's a Chevy truck. They're garbage, but they're like indestructible garbage. They're not indestructible garbage. I would say they're garbage that is pretty fucking destructible. Look at that. He's hitting a fucking U-turn, baby.
But you don't want to necessarily do that if the person driving is a hostage.
Oh, shit. Oh, I think he's going to...
Bruce, you made another.
I think
very
his
valid
wheel,
point
that U-turn might have been very damaging for his rim.
Probably,
That
I would guess.
his rim
How
might
the
be
suspect
perma-stuck
might be
now.
related to the driver, if they are correct.
Or maybe not. I don't know. This part is crazy. What is he doing?
Intelligence is
Okay, we've got him.
What is he doing?
Okay, it's almost as if this driver is probing and trying to figure out where they might go. Driving into oncoming traffic again now, and again it seems to be on La Cienega Boulevard, and it's near freeway exit.
Don't do it! Don't go on La Cienega Boulevard! Don't do it! You're done. You're done. You're done. You're gonna pop all your tires. All of your tires are gonna pop. It's the worst. That's where I pop my tire.
Somebody near.
Look at this shit ass fucking road. That's a major street in Los Angeles, chat. Look at how fucking shit that road is.
Bump somebody when he was passing on the right. Kind of ran.
La Cienega Boulevard is so much worse than spike strips. It's like a spike strip every fucking second.
Run into other people on the commute here, on this chase, on this pursuit. But right now, the person just seems to be continuing to poke and prod and look for different ways to not get pinned in, to keep moving. And here we go through another intersection. That was at least with the light. But the way this guy is driving, this person is driving, it is really without purpose. This is the shot here on the right that I was speaking of. They ran over a spike strip somewhere along the way. It also could have been, I suppose, when they ran into something. Maybe it wasn't a spike strip, but from the beginning of this particular...
Oh my God, I wasn't wrong. He literally might have stripped it off of a fucking pothole. Stop. Yo!
Was slowly going flat, and then now is completely flat. There's no rubber on the rim, and you can see here on the right some of the moves from earlier, maneuvering through intersections, hitting people, making unsafe turns. We've seen driving into oncoming traffic. But not necessarily at high rates.
There
of
was no
speed.
radio
Right
traffic
now,
prior about
high
a
rates of
spike
speed
strip.
are not
Yeah.
really possible due to the condition of the vehicle.
Bro,
But
I'm telling you,
there are
combined with how
possible
dog shit the
reports of
fucking
an
car
armed
is,
murder
on top of that,
suspect in the vehicle. So
how dog shit the
how
roads
police
are,
approach
it makes
this
it so much
vehicle and
harder
try
to do a
get this
fucking...
to an end
Uh-oh, he's
is
going
still
into
very
a
much
he's
in
going into a
doubt.
neighborhood now. Uh-oh.
So much that we don't know, so much in unsafe elements. If with an armed suspect, that Bruce, I'll bring you back in here. You don't want to get it. Is now alone in his lane here, except he is not nearly the amount of traffic, and somehow has continued to be able to maneuver. It looked as if that was the remnants of a spike stripper. He caught something as he had driven over. But again, this is a murder suspect that is in, we believe, the back seat, the passenger seat of this Chevrolet pickup truck.
Wait,
Not
what?
driving. We have some reports. We have a belief that there might be a weapon in the vehicle. We do not know. We don't.
Wait.
Maybe law enforcement does.
He's
We
making
don't know
someone
the
else
relationship
drive?
of the driver to the suspect. So we don't know how authorities might be able, they don't know if this is an ally or an adversary in the vehicle.
Ally or an
that is going to be
adversary?
a very challenging part of this as far as what we can think of for police, because if they don't know,
Oh,
if
what
it's
the
a
fuck?
carjacking of some sort, that's going to create a very, very
Wait, some
scary
weird shit's
situation for
happening.
the driver. If it is an ally, Bruce, they would like if they know that now we'd have damage. Look at this. The vehicle is trying to force his way through, and now we're under that overpass. People are going to try to get out of the way. You saw that vehicle just drive. That is an expression of the desperation, it seems. Okay, so now you've got somebody
What the
opening
fuck?
the door. That is a person opening the passenger side door. The vehicle is virtually disabled. No right wheel, but law enforcement right behind. So
Wait.
we are now going to see what's going to happen as the person had a car door open.
Why is that car backing up?
Here they've
Why is that car backing up? Oh, they're running. Oh, Lord, they're running.
There are two women running away from the vehicle. Now we have a different pursuit. The suspect, it seems, has jumped into that vehicle.
He flipped
Maybe he's
it!
communicating with that because that person backed up and opened the door and got in. The two women ran away. So this now looks like some sort of accomplice in this SUV. So the vehicle was disabled.
He
now you
flipped
have another
it!
on the run with a murder suspect in the vehicle. possibly assisted by another person who pulled up. We saw them backing up. They may have been in
Let's go crime! Okay, I'm back in
somehow
it. I'm back in
trying to
it.
get in touch
The
with them.
car
We saw the door
swap
of the
meta
passenger
is
side open,
undefeated.
and so now we're going to possibly
It's
have
still a
one set of
dog
law
shit ass
enforcement going to
SUV,
try
by
to
the
get
way,
two women.
which is
There were
hilarious.
2 women that we saw leaving. Now you've got a suspect who has another vehicle, and they are on the run. So this is a different kind of pursuit now. Instead of a disabled vehicle that we thought might be a chase that could soon come to an end, we now have another vehicle, high speeds here near the airport,
everybody knows
trying to
your
elude
stars go up
authorities,
again.
And this suspect
You get
now
another-
driving into oncoming traffic. Going
He
through
didn't
an
flip the
intersection
car.
there.
He
We
didn't
don't
flip
know
the
if it was
car
good, but I
outside of the
couldn't
view
quite
of
see that.
cops. He
But
flipped it
now
in front of the
you've got a
cops, so the
very,
stars
very
are. He
real
still at 5
problem here.
stars.
Bruce, how does this change for law enforcement?
And he's cooking with gas now. He's
If you're
going
back to
fast as
square one,
fuck,
you're
boy.
chasing a
Goddamn.
healthy vehicle, which has not been spike stripped, does not have any disabling factors, and you're basically chasing a new vehicle. So it's starting over.
But now, do you treat the suspects in this vehicle differently?
It's pretty funny because they have literally he's going through all of the most beater ass, shitty ass fucking SUVs he can. They went from a Chevy Avalanche to like, what is that, like a Mazda or some shit? Like, what's next, dude? He's gonna go into a fucking Kia Sorento. Wait, is this a Ford Escape? Yeah, he's gonna hit it in. He's gonna fucking swap it into a Jeep Cherokee to make to hit the trifecta of like dog shit SUVs.
You're right. The person just ran, and you could actually see that they were not taking a weapon. So now you see an aggressive move by one of law enforcement coming up quickly on the left of that SUV. That person now weaving in and out of traffic. Again, this is at La Brea and Arbor, and the suspect getting through
Another
that intersection.
shit-ass
It is a
road,
green
by the
light,
way.
but navigating through
Watch
that
out.
congestion, and now again trying to elude authorities, and police are quickly back on this suspect, and we're coming through another green light, but turning on the right there and going down onto La Brea. So again, back in the
A
same
Honda
general
Odyssey
area,
switch would be
passing
legendary. Yeah, he's just
another
hitting
little
like
minivan there
he's
on
hitting
the
all the
left
fucking most
into
dog
oncoming
shit
traffic
fucking.
and
He's hitting all the most dog shit
aggressively trying to get away.
SUVs.
So it looked like that was an intersection of Tamarack and Kelso maybe, but it looks as if we're on Tamarack. So this suspect continues to blow through stop signs, which creates a real problem for anybody who might be driving that commute. Here at about 12:53, you see some people
Bro,
just
LA,
out and
dude,
about.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
So lunchtime.
I'm gonna keep it at $150. This is not the worst part about LA commutes, okay? As someone who does LA commutes, almost every aspect of the Los Angeles commute is dog shit, okay? So when this happens, at least it's like a little fun. But like normal people drive like this too in Los Angeles, like pretty fucking bad. Yeah, for someone who lives in Los Angeles, like you're like, oh fuck, okay, well I guess that's the reason why all the fucking roads are closed. You know what I mean? It's like a fun distraction.
We're Manchester and South Prairie, and this suspect, high rate of speed, but the driver is not the suspect. They are now. They're part of this now.
They are now.
They're
part of the suspect. Yeah, they are now. It's true.
Of a Chevy truck. This vehicle, if you're just now joining us, backed up when the Chevy was disabled and got this person, picked up the suspect, and took him off. So we do have some word here that 2 suspects who bailed out earlier are now in custody. It says the driver carjacked a Mazda that they're still chasing.
Dr. K says hello with a raid. Thank you, Dr. K. Hope you had a good stream.
Chevy, they are in custody. They're called.
We're currently watching
another
high-speed chase
of this Mazda. It very possibly
where there was a
could
car
be, I
swap.
suppose, but Bruce,
It's an attempted murder suspect.
You saw it as well. It looked to me like the Mazda backed up to pick up this person.
It did. The Mazda did back up.
Yeah, Philip, that's exactly what I saw when it
We
was
found his
rewrapped.
next target for a swap.
Oh,
God. Oh, Lord. Oh, here's the swap. Here's the swap.
See if they are related or if they know this person, and they're going to sort through that pretty quickly. The good news is that you brought up The suspect in that vehicle is alone. There's not anybody else in that vehicle, which means law enforcement can be a little more aggressive.
Okay, so now you've seen there on the right what Bruce and I were talking about. This person running directly up to that vehicle that backed up to them. Now, our word here, some of our notes, they are calling it a carjacking. So I think to Bruce's point,
wait, how would that be a carjacking? He was going backwards, bro.
The 2 people who are in custody are being called suspects, but they're also going.
Bro, how was that a fucking carjack? Oh, the first one was a carjacking, maybe.
This now is a very interesting case. This Mazda SUV that is on the run, aggressively driving, and that is where the suspect jumped into the back seat of this vehicle when that vehicle had backed up and apparently had stopped to pick him up. But we're now seeing, going through stop signs, we're seeing law enforcement get right up on the back of this Mazda. So how they approach this is going to be very interesting. A quick right turn here, now into either a side street or a parking lot. There you've got somebody with their lunch going into their car. That's what makes this so scary for the general public, is that this could happen and be up on them so quickly here, just going about their business. It looks as if we're parallel to Manchester. Is that what we're hearing? Or yeah,
it's on South 3rd Avenue.
And now we're turning back onto Manchester in the opposite direction. So again,
I mean, he has stayed relatively close in the West LA, like LAX area.
Are in that area, Bruce, they could possibly throw another spike strip with possibility, because they've stayed in the general area, correct? That would give them a chance to do it.
Yeah,
this is why we should make streets more walkable and shut down the roads. I mean, this is one aspect of it, certainly. There's truth to that.
You don't see the driver get out. You see the passenger open, but no one ever exits. So we might be back to square one with the driver and a suspect in the vehicle.
Oh, he definitely. Actually, there might even be more people, Bruce.
Yeah, these guys are so dumb. There's 2 people in that car in the front seat. The suspect gets into the back seat. The driver is in the front seat. Someone opens and then closes the door. There's 2 people in that car in the front seat.
People in the front.
How do they not see that?
That's what I would surmise from what I just watched, unless somehow maybe the driver had reached across and possibly opened the door and pulled it back. So now you've got the wind. It looked like the passenger window is down. Either way, incredible what we watched in that moment, because Bruce, I have to admit, I thought the chase was about to end right at that spot. It looked as
well, you thought wrong, motherfucker. These are smart criminals, dude. They're crimers.
He jumped out and ran straight to that vehicle. Again, law enforcement is calling this a carjacking. We have to wait and see how that develops. But it does appear there could be at least 2, possibly 3 people in that vehicle. And
those girls ran away like civilians in Command and Conquer run away. That's an insane reference, brother.
Again, we're back to square one, except now we know that suspect is not carrying a rifle with them.
Right, and we are going.
But what about the other 2 suspects that fucking backed in? They might have a gun.
Him being armed and dangerous, and being a murder suspect also. But yeah, I think you're correct. I think there may be 2 or 3 people in that vehicle, possibly.
Which, again, with the tinted windows in the back, once it reaches its end point, that creates a piece of the puzzle for law enforcement when they're trying to secure the vehicle, trying to clear the vehicle, trying to know what they're facing, because you don't really. Tell me the approach of law enforcement here, Bruce. You don't like the unknown when it comes to a standoff or engaging of a suspect. You like to know what you're facing.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, you want to control the situation, and you're controlling it, you're containing it, because you want to keep the unknowns from happening. However, the officers are going to have plan A, B, C, and D in this case when this finally ends.
I thought LA had a lot of traffic. It does.
They were
LA has traffic. Notice how when he's driving, there's traffic one way. LA has a lot of traffic. It's just one direction always. It's never in both directions.
Total it does appear
it's also the best time for no traffic
we are
because it's
told
like
that
3 to
they are
4
approaching this
in
as two
between
people in the car. Now you see another,
1
move here to try
p.m.
to go through
when at the top of the
traffic
hour there's a
congestion,
3-minute ad
getting
break,
into the turn lane,
all the way
going
until
around.
like fucking
So we'll figure
4
out the number
p.m.
of
I would
people in the
say.
car as we
It's
go
not
forward.
necessarily rush
That
hour,
seems an odd
so there won't be a lot of
circumstance,
traffic, but there
Bruce,
will be a
I'm
3-minute
gonna
ad
go
break
with-
here because at the top of the
with
hour
what
there's a
they're
3-minute
saying
ad
on the
break.
scanner
If
and
you no
what
longer want to
authorities
see
are
those
saying is
ads,
possible.
ladies and gentlemen,
And
my
again,
sources
they're
are
calling
saying
this a
all you need to
carjacking.
do is subscribe
But
for
from
$5
our
or for free with a
perspective
Twitch
of it,
Prime. That's what they're
it was a
saying.
strange sequence of events to
By
watch the
connecting your
vehicle back
Amazon
up
Prime
and
account to your
somebody
Twitch account, you get
jump
one
in,
free
and
Prime
very
subscription a
possibly
month.
the suspect-
Use it
maybe-
on your
maybe the
favorite
driver was trying to get
broadcaster.
out of the
Hopefully
passenger
that's me.
side.
You can also
Maybe
get
that's what
gifted a
was happening,
sub.
Bruce, and the person
These
said,
sources
"Don't
are very
you dare get
credible.
back in here
Ennis
drive."
Ben
So
Amor,
who
thank you for
knows?
the 5
They're calling
gifted.
it carjacking. And
Dynamic
they're saying
Jab,
there
thank
are
you for
two
the
people in
5
vehicle,
gifted as well.
but we'll say at
Allowing
least
10 people to
two
no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Here's
vehicle
a 3-minute
at
ad break
this
now.
point. See the vehicle once again. This Mazda SUV, once again, still near the airport, still driving in the same general
it's smart.
area.
It's smart for them to
And
keep fucking
did you
driving
see- that was an
near
aggressive
this
move by
area.
law enforcement to jump up because it looked as he was trying to make that right turn again.
Because,
That
like,
might have taken him
clearly,
in the direction
while
of
it
the
cucks
airport.
our
So now look at
content
it,
a little bit,
up onto the median, in the center of the vehicle, up
while
on
it cucks
the
our
road,
content
up
a
on
little
the
bit,
median,
it's
driving
smart for the
down
crimer
left
to do
turn
such a
lane.
thing
Here
because
we make a left turn
there's
right
very
there,
limited-
nearly hitting that vehicle,
there's
getting
very
control
limited
back in the left lane,
aerial coverage.
and making that right turn there. So whoever's driving
Whoop,
is driving
whoop, 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 whoop,
aggressively
whoop.
to try to get away. Looks like they've now got into a parking structure of some sort. If that is the case.
Is it happening?
There he goes again. So they pulled into that.
Never
lot
mind.
and
He
came
didn't.
right
He
back
didn't
out.
pull
I
off.
thought
He didn't
maybe
pull
might be
off in
going
this
into
one,
a
dude.
building underneath.
He should have just gone into the
But
parking
again,
structure and gotten a fucking
back
Kia
on the road,
Sorrento.
trying to get away. And we again have high rates of speed here. And again, if you're just joining us, we want to let you know this is a somewhat difficult chase to watch from Air 7 HD because of the flight restrictions that are happening near LAX. Here we go. Now we're into oncoming traffic. People have the right of way. This person driving through the red light, a person there in the sidewalk, in the crosswalk, stopping for all the authorities, and now that person is stuck as the light gets ready to turn green. Here goes the Mazda SUV.
He's about to
trying
pull off
get
in this,
away
bro.
back, on regular driving side, back on the right side of the road, but showing a willingness to drive through congestion into oncoming traffic if necessary, and at one point up on the median that was dividing the two. Now that's interesting. Law enforcement getting on to oncoming traffic around the left turn lane to keep that person from going that direction. So Bruce, that's an example, it seems, of what you were talking about a moment ago. They are trying to get this person to go in a certain place.
Yeah, that's what I think we're seeing is they are requesting additional resources from other stations, maybe even other agencies under mutual aid. to get
Hurry
them,
up,
hey,
bring the
block
Taycan for
Manchester,
another
block
swap.
Florence, whatever
Dude, I
the city may
can't.
be.
I don't have the
So we
Taycan
gotta
any
funnel
longer.
resources
I don't have it
into
for.
an area
It's in the
and
shop.
deploy additional spike
I got
strips.
fucking
And
spike
that's
strip.
the thing. If they can get
on
spike
my
strips
last
on
police
it,
escape.
again, you start to reduce the possibility this might keep going. You can control the speed of this chase, which we've seen so many times, sadly, how this can end when the speeds get high and the suspect has a complete disregard for other people. So now this person is still able to drive at high rates of speed, has shown a willingness to kind of force. Well, when it was the truck, when they were driving the truck,
I have to pee really quickly,
that truck
and I think it'll be
plowed
fine.
through traffic, just bashed into and plowed through an intersection.
I gotta pee, I'll be back.
To be able to get to the spot
I'm worried,
where
though.
this carjacking occurred. So it was right before right here is what you're watching. Watch this. So the vehicle just plows through, and it was shortly after this. We
I'm
thought
so
that
fucking
maybe
worried.
They might have a disabled vehicle, and that this would end. And then that's when the suspects jumped out of the vehicle and one of them jumped into this Mazda that we're looking at here, this SUV. There were two women that jumped out of the truck. They have been taken into custody, whether they're being questioned, and we don't know their relationship to this person.
Not supposed
But
to
this
burn. You
person
should see a
then
doctor
jumped
for that.
into this vehicle, and someone else is driving. So the murder suspect, we believe, is in the back seat of this vehicle. We did not see a rifle of any sort, but now the person is trying to navigate through and against the light and now into the turn lane, trying to get around that box truck, which he has done effectively with the help of the box truck pulling over. So now you're
What are they
back,
doing?
moving
Does the runner have
through-
a destination? Why would we know that? You think they would tell you? How would we know that? Do you think they would also openly admit they're like, yeah, we're going to this house right now?
Why Bruce believes that they are able to get resources.
I don't have burning. I'm just holding my piss. What the fuck are you talking about?
But Bruce, if he's continuing to go through the same area, he'll probably see that police presence begin to build as well, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct. We saw that on a pursuit the other day on Channel 7 where they were just
I'm going to pee. I'll be back.
It'll
be fine.
Enforcement and were able to close off intersections, funneling the suspect vehicle into an area that they wanted.
Yeah, and if you funnel them into an area with with a cul-de-sac or with some sort of industrial complex, that's going to be much better. But every time he goes through an intersection, it just puts so many people at risk because this is a busy time of day out there. You've got a lot of folks driving around here at lunchtime. And so now you've got a guy willing to drive into oncoming traffic, potentially carjack this vehicle, alleged carjacking. It is possible. There you have another blocked intersection. Now on Manchester. So that's got to be an interesting thing in the vehicle. Every intersection that goes by when you might want to turn one direction and you can't because law enforcement's already there. Bruce, at what point does
Shut the fuck up. I was checking. I was literally checking. Don't shut up.
They did a U-turn right there. Just behind there it is.
Stop saying he died. I'm checking. I know.
And here we are. Great camera work. So the suspect was able to do a U-turn. And you see them there now in the left lane. Again, driving up on to the median into oncoming traffic. There's a man carrying garbage out of the McDonald's. And here we are in this area. Now we've got another right turn into oncoming traffic. No, that's actually, I'm sorry, that is proper.
Is this copyright free?
You can see he was weaving wide. And I thought for a second there he was going to come across the lanes. So here we are on a street, looks like Main Street, coming up on 86th. So this suspect on a little bit of a street less traveled. So this, we don't know if this is an opportunity for a pit maneuver. We can't really see the speeds at this point. They look to be between 50 and 60 miles an hour.
He's going 50 miles, 40 miles, 20 miles.
And weaving a little bit. That might have been a spike strip. Bruce, is that probably what the suspect did?
Did he dodge it?
Traffic? Okay, so they.
Yeah, I think that's what they saw, and that's what the maneuver caused. So
damn, bro, he fucking ripped it.
Around that area.
The goat. Wait, hold on. Did he actually hit it though? That's huge.
Areas of kids that are just out and about here on spring break. It's Good Friday. Now you see possibly another maneuver to avoid, but driving into the turn lane again at 98th Street and Main into the oncoming traffic lanes. Looks like there's some damage to the front of this vehicle too. So now we see on another side street, and it looks as if that was going to try to go down that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's crazy.
In many cases, you don't have room for two people to go by.
Oh, look at him fucking passing through that trash truck. Oh my Lord.
Traffic to and fro. Now we've got another quick right turn going down a street, and it looks like they're approaching another main street here, which is going to Century. That's Century, crossing Century, and then making a left turn. And then now we're bound on Century, back onto one of the main streets there. And here we go again. But we've seen opportunity for law enforcement, and they have taken it to deploy spike strips here and there. At this point, the person has been able to avoid that. Bruce, I mean, again, we're still trying to figure out the relationship with the people in the vehicle. So they're probably going to gather that information as they can run the plates on this vehicle, yes? It looks. Have we lost Bruce?
No, I'm sorry. I lost you guys just for.
Okay, sorry about that. But again, same story as the first. You run the plates on the Chevy.
Pull up the police radio.
You're going to run the plates
there's a
on
police
this
radio
Mazda
site?
as well, correct? And find out if there's a relationship here, if this indeed is a carjacking, because that's what it's called.
Bro, this is not a carjacking.
Also, you want to find out where the registered owner address comes back to, which may be in the area that we are at.
How do you see it? How do you see the police scanner? Someone link it to me.
We're told that this is a female driver which there were 2 women that got out of the Chevy. So if this is another carjacking, then he has carjacked another female as he did before, or unless those were allies. And so now we are about to see
That's the
what
South
goes on
LAPD
with
South
this one.
Bureau?
Again, driving in the same general area, murder suspect in pursuit or being pursued by LAPD, coming up on a red light here, slowing down for this intersection, which is good. But here we go, around the bus. And
Bro, this shit is awful
continuing
comms,
on
dude. They're not
forward.
calming
So-
right.
At least
Yeah, they're not calming right at all. This
Caution,
sucks.
But still driving in the lane. Trying to see if that front passenger seat is a person in a white T-shirt, or if that may be something just.
They're not
laying,
calming well, dude.
There on. You see some hand movements.
And they're doing comms
some,
abuse.
gesturing
Fuck the LAPD,
by the
dude.
person who's driving.
They're doing
Yeah, it
they're
looks
doing
like
comms
there
abuse,
is a
dude. They
person
just
in the
fucking
front seat. And if I'm remembering correctly, the person who was on the run
hope
was
they get banned by
wearing
Riot.
T-shirts,
Honestly,
yes?
that's a VAC
I
ban.
can't remember if they were wearing a white T-shirt. I remember they had dark hair. So maybe if we happen to see that as this vehicle got carjacked, but you see some hand movements there by the person driving. You see someone in the front seat.
Yes, there's 2
And
people in the
when
front
we
seat.
re-rack, we'll see
What is
exactly
wrong
what
with
the
these
person's
fucking
wearing.
newscasters? The door didn't magically open and close by a fucking ghost. Yes, of course there's 2 people in the front seat. You saw the door open and close. You saw the passenger door open and close in the front seat. What the fuck?
Yeah, Philip, that's a great observation, and I would concur with that. As the suspect was wearing all black, he got in the rear, so you have a driver, a passenger.
The driver's
and
on
then
the
rear
phone. What
passenger,
the fuck?
suspect. So I think
He's
that
putting
does
he's
kind
taking
of
his hands off the
force law
wheels.
enforcement to be not as aggressive as a solo vehicle suspect.
Well, you also have a person on the phone. So you have the driver, who is said to be a woman, on the phone. And if perchance, if Mike and your conjecture is true, that somehow the person in black contacted this person and they picked him up, then this person could potentially make a phone call for another exchange.
Oh my
so
God,
that
if
this
they
person have
swap
vehicle
another,
to get out of
that's
there.
so
Because as
sick.
we've all seen, when you stay in the same community, wow, a person on a bicycle nearly hit by the Mazda coming through there. And there's a pedestrian right underneath Air 7 as this person is driving through. So the general public is at risk with this driver. But we don't know what's going on.
I don't like to place the blame on random shit for crime other than material conditions, right? But I'm going to keep it $150. This is entirely Rockstar's fault.
Murder suspect.
Release Grand Theft Auto 6. We know you're working on it at this point. Come on, pick up the fucking pace. The more time you spend on Grand Theft Auto 5 and like the more fucking money you generate off Grand Theft Auto 5, the more crime will keep happening in the streets of Los Angeles. We need to fucking diminish crime in the real world by making everybody do crime on GTA 6 instead.
Now we see this.
Rockstar has blood on its hands.
You have to assume that there's the possibility this might happen again.
Yeah, Philip, you're 100% correct. The other thing, too, which might be happening, is maybe they're trying to negotiate a surrender. This could be a relative who isn't the murder suspect, and this could be a mom or an aunt or a sister. Who's
What?
saying,
No,
yeah,
dude.
I'm
What
in
mom
this
is
vehicle.
whipping the
We
fucking...
want to stop. We want to surrender, but we want no harm to come to our relative.
Okay, well, now we're approaching the 105
Bro, they're making it seem
freeway.
like this mom is whipping the fucking Hyundai,
the
dude.
chase that we've watched,
No mom is out. No auntie's out here whipping the Subi. Okay.
They've continued to drive surface streets.
This analysis
near
is
the
ridiculous.
Airport. Okay, now the person should be off the phone. Both hands on the wheel that you can see there. But that could mean the cell phone was handed off to somebody else. Bruce, you make a great point.
Ads,
This could be
dude.
a
Fucking
we
L
want to
ads.
surrender, but this is where we want to do it. This is how we want to do it. It could be anything. And it could also be, hey, I want to help in this other way. We just don't know. And that it's just an odd chase, Bruce, in that we thought it was almost over. And usually, Bruce, when we see a carjacking, there is some manner of resistance by the person being carjacked. Here we go, into oncoming traffic, through another intersection, and back on the move again without hitting anything. That's good. But usually there's some manner of resistance, whether it's I opened the driver's side door and tried to get out or something. And that's what was unusual to me about this is that the only
Would your mom
door that
save
opened
you?
was
No.
the passenger door. The suspect jumped into the rear of this
Why does
vehicle,
this keep happening,
and
dude?
without anything, the passenger side closed. We saw the two women running away from the Chevy truck. That's usually the behavior of somebody who is being carjacked, is they just want out of that vehicle and they might run away. So it's very odd to me to have seen what we saw, where there was no resistance at all from the people inside the vehicle. They stayed there. This person ran straight to the back seat.
Clear comms. Clear comms.
Got it. Didn't open the front door and try to pull the person out. Jumped in the back, and the passenger side door opened briefly and then shuts, and nobody even made an attempt to get out of that vehicle as those two women ran straight by.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Those
Back
two
left
women
tire is
have
looking a
been,
little fucking
detained
dingy.
by authorities, and now we're looking at what authorities are calling a carjacking, but looked nothing like any carjacking we've ever witnessed here before.
Bro,
So now
you
we
are
see this
dumb if
monster
you think that
going
is a
into the right
carjacking.
shoulder,
This is the most
driving,
consensual
across
carjacking I've
railroad
ever seen in my
tracks,
life.
getting around any congestion in front. And again, here we go through an intersection, trying to make a decision to go right or left. Basically, it's just navigating those intersections. If I could have our producer say what they said in the
Are
air
all
one more
this
time.
man's passengers BBWs? This man is the
Okay, so
Riz
that's
Lord,
Imperial
dude.
and San Pedro is the road
Okay,
that we're
he
on.
is the Riz
So
Lord.
Imperial is
BBWs in the
road.
first car,
That
BBWs in the
is,
second
you
car.
know,
That's
a pretty
this
easy
is a
road to drive. So
like
we're
a
getting
like a
really good
Manson
look
family
into,
type situation with
the
exclusively
driver who is
BBWs.
navigating this, and we can see the white t-shirt person to her right. We cannot see into the back seat. That is where we believe the murder suspect jumped into the vehicle out after running away from the truck. So, Bruce, this is, at this point, kind of just another chase at this point. And officers are just trying to find a way to navigate them into where they can disable this vehicle, huh?
Yeah, that's correct. You know, Imperial Highway is a multi-lane, east-west street, mostly a commercial area. And as they continue further east,
Why
you're
is no
gonna
police
transverse
car in front of them
into
stopping the car?
Sheriff's territory,
Dangerous.
Maywood PD, maybe Vernon, and you know,
In a lot of
I'd be curious
instances,
to
they
know
don't just
where
like fucking
the
try
suspect
to
is wanted out
knock
of,
the car
you know,
out.
what jurisdictional area?
Because
But to your point,
it would be very
this
dangerous
is
because there's like
unlike
other
any
cars
carjacking
around.
we've ever seen.
There's
Most
other
people, like you said,
there's other people
would
around.
resist,
When you
maybe
get into a
speed
car
up, maybe
accident,
try to get out of the way. But in this
there's a
case,
lot of
this vehicle
uncontrollable
backed
things.
up, and they let this person get into the rear seat with no objections.
Well, we now have a flat tire, Bruce. We've got the rear back tire.
Called it.
that is
Oh,
lost
they might
here.
not have been able
And
to
you can
dodge
see it
that
there
fucking-
very
oh,
clearly from
dude.
M7 HD. Well, that was a little bit of a we can get a focus
They also
better
think he
on
has a
that one, but
gun.
you can
That's
see it a
another
moment
reason
ago
why they
very
won't
clearly.
do a pit,
The-
'cause they
the
don't wanna get
back
shot.
wheel is flat.
But the
On
back
driver's
left
side,
wheel,
rear wheel is
as
gone.
I called
So
it
that
earlier,
means you're
is
gonna have the
unfortunately
same type of
looking.
thing
It was
that
looking
happened a
hurt,
moment
and it
ago
is flat
in
now.
reverse. The
Not as
propulsion
devastating
will
as
be
the front. Not as devastating as the front. Obviously, you can still maneuver around with a rear tire that's flat because remember what happened in the second car. When you move the fucking wheels around, when you move the tire around, if it's on a fucking rim, if it's on a rim, it will cook. It will cook the rim. It'll melt the rim eventually if it gets stuck sideways, which is precisely what happened. So as long as they keep the two front wheels going.
In our mind, I've got to think that authorities are not going to take for granted that it's been disabled. I would think that they will be very well prepared and ready in the event that this vehicle does stop, because it's happened once.
This is why
We've
you
seen
never
the suspect
jack
jump
newer
out, run
SUVs.
from
Why?
one vehicle to another, and we've seen the driver of this vehicle on the phone. So now we're about to see how long this Mazda will be able to run with a disabled rear left tire, just running a red light there. But it's a little less dangerous at this speed, Bruce, because not only is it you're not going through there so with such surprising appearance to oncoming traffic, but you have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 police cars. You've got to think the commuters know now what's happening, because lights and sirens in that neighborhood are going to be resounding. And so
Yeah,
they
bro,
will
that ain't going to
probably see
stop
this
people
coming.
from
So here we've
fucking
got
driving
a
around,
right
though.
turn, and they're now off of that. That was Imperial Highway, I believe. And now they've moved on to one of the side streets as well.
Why do we need 7 cars for this? What do you mean? I mean,
or in that
bro,
neighborhood,
have you
that's
never
what that
seen
street is.
the Los
88,
Angeles
so they're
Police
88, so Air
Department
7 is
spends
above
burns through $8 million a day. Okay, they send like 3 cars through a random fucking traffic stop. Of course, they're gonna send 7 cars on a goddamn chase, dude. Are you kidding me? This is the one instance where like it's valid to have that many fucking cars.
More and more often, we're seeing law enforcement at an intersection in front of them, and so that means they see it too.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're letting, it's more of a public safety issue also, to block the intersection, to allow the suspect vehicle and the parade of police cars to get through safely, in addition to also funneling them into an area they want them to be at.
And right now, one of the reasons they wanted to funnel him in a place
If she
is so they
gets
could
an
get spike
ambulance in
strips
that
out.
convoy,
Clearly,
she's
they-
officially the
suspect
sitting
in this
president.
case avoided a couple, but did not avoid all, because one of them has flattened the rear tire. And so it might have even
TikTok.
happened, Bruce, when on one of those
TikTok is about to go
efforts to
crazy
avoid
when they
completely.
find out
I mean,
about that.
That struck me as odd that it was able to disable the rear wheel.
Great callback.
Not the front, but it's possible, I suppose, that when she swerved to miss, that she didn't miss it on the back end, and that's what disabled that back tire. Does that happen frequently?
Right. Yeah. Also, when you have a spike strip like this, it's a tack strip. It's actually 3 parts that will, as you throw it out. So you also have to retract it quick enough so you don't flatten the tires of the police vehicles in the pursuit. I actually had that once on a robbery suspect where I couldn't get it out of the way in time, and a police vehicle rolled over it and got 4 flat tires.
That's awesome.
So it's a real tricky maneuver.
He
Well,
fucking flipped his own homie, dude. That's great. He spike stripped his own guy.
Officers ran over it and disabled that vehicle when they had called out SWAT special enforcement or sheriff special enforcement and had the suspect with the tear gas. So that was quite the day. And then now we have this, which is a very unusual situation. We don't know the relationship of the people in the vehicle, if it is a carjacking or if it was an assist. We, again, were watching a chase we thought was nearly over when a Chevy truck had plowed through an intersection with basically no front wheel. It was perpendicular to its way of travel. The wheel was about to fall off and collapse, but they were able to plow through an intersection.
Dude, that
and
was
get
fucking
forward
insane.
enough that when they pulled over,
like
they
that
found
that
the
was actually
spot
pretty
to
wild.
stop
They
the
hit an Audi
suspect,
TT
and
too,
the
which kind
other
of sucks.
people
You
in
got
the
imagine getting
vehicle
fucking
jumped out at that
rear-ended
point. This is on the right where we saw it. They jumped
in your
out
sports
and
car.
took off running. The 2 women run down the alley. The one man jumped into
Was
the
that
back
a
of this
R8?
vehicle, and that's when the Mazda
Ooh,
took off.
that's so much
we
worse.
believe there are 3 people in that vehicle. Bruce Thomas
Oh,
and I
that's
believe
so.
that.
Oh, fuck.
Now
That's like
we're
a
seeing the suspect
expensive
live
ass
drive through
car
an
too.
intersection
God
against the light.
damn.
So that was an intersection that officers were not able to get to. They can't get to all of them, Bruce. Do they just decide we're going to pick one that we can throw a spike
Does
strip
the city
down so it
cover
doesn't
damages
affect
with the Audi? I don't know how that works.
other traffic, and they just kind of, like you said, maneuver them to that place? Because they can't throw it down at every single intersection.
No, you don't have those resources.
If he
This
stole the
kind of a
R8, there's
myth.
no way. It's
like,
GG's.
Okay, this guy is driving eastbound.
If he stole the R8,
any units on
it would have been
Imperial
fucking
Highway,
Jover, dude.
Back up where you are, or maybe you're
You ain't
ahead,
getting.
maybe
You're
behind,
not getting caught by
and
the
if you have
cops
a
after that.
spike
Remember
strip,
the fucking
maybe you
Beamer
can
and the
deploy it.
Benz?
But
And
everybody
announce that
doesn't
on
carry one,
video,
huh?
too. No, that's correct. We just don't have the resources.
Bro,
for
this
that.
thing is
Okay.
going though,
So
even with
anyway,
a flat.
And again, another part of this is since
Told
the
you.
suspect stays in the general area, officers are able to block intersections and maybe not throw down spike strips, but certainly protect the general public as they can because of this particular driver who now goes through another intersection against the flow of traffic, did not have the right of way, drove through that intersection on a flat tire. The best news of this pursuit, per se, is that this person is not able to go at the rates of speed
Dude.
they were going earlier.
Saying that like Los Angeles PD does not have the resources for anything is so stupid. They have the resources to fight like global wars, okay? Like, their resources are the equivalent of, like, I don't know, the 14th most expensive military on the planet. Like, shut the fuck up. God damn, dude.
Area of LAX, but they did a U-turn, went back to general direction, and we haven't seen that opportunity again. It did seem at one point that the suspect driving right now, the person driving right now, might have had that as an idea, but officers quickly closed the gap.
I'm waiting for the next swap, which is inevitable. It's going to happen.
See, again, that left
the next
rear
swap
tire starting to show some further damage, really not the smooth finish that you would normally see on a tire. So clearly it loses its air slowly, and it's lost it all. Now you're starting to see parts of the vehicle or something being thrown out of the vehicle. So now you have the passenger side window is cracked. We saw the driver's side window all the way down. This person now driving into the left turn lane to get around and then back into its regular lanes, splitting the two lanes here. Now you see vehicles in front starting to pull over smartly and get out of the way. But you have law enforcement, heavy LAPD.
Does all of LA look the same, or are they going in circles? It's both.
But we do have a high felony suspect, murder suspect in that vehicle.
I'm getting reports from High Vis that the firearm was not recovered from the other vehicle. So the police are speculating that he might have actually taken
one of the scooters trying to cross the road.
That's crazy.
No idea what's happening.
He might have taken the gun with him.
When they go through there with a flattened tire, it makes it a lot safer for everybody.
Yeah, it does, because it decreases their speed. Also, as you get into
we have gray names on the ground.
Some schools are still in session. Some only have half days. So the population is more out and about, which creates another issue for law enforcement with this pursuit.
Yeah, certainly with the Good Friday, a lot of schools, even if they are in session, will be out today. When I say that, I mean maybe they were in session until yesterday. Now you've got, and you've got kids there on the right waving to the person who is.
I've been playing One Piece this entire time
on this chase, but again, you can take a look at that back rear tire and you see it is down. It is completely flat. The front tires are okay, but if this is a rear-wheel drive vehicle, it's going to be difficult to continue moving forward as soon as the rubber completely goes off of that vehicle. The steering of it, Bruce, will be a lot easier with the tires on the front, but you'll start trying to accelerate, and it'll just make the rim disintegrate that much faster on that rear wheel if it starts spinning on concrete once the metal gets to the asphalt.
Yeah, the spike strips are designed. They have like little mini, I'll call them straws for a better description. They break off and embed themselves into the tire, and it slowly allows the tire to deflate and ultimately disintegrate like we've seen, and then they're riding on rims. So it's also a safety issue that it doesn't deflate the tire right away, but it just takes time.
Well, I noticed that the driver had her arm out the window. I couldn't tell if she got behind the tree. I couldn't tell if she was dropping something. Okay, so she did. We're told that she dropped the bag, and now again you'll see some hand movements there by the driver. And so officers will stop and pick up whatever that bag was, and they will look.
Genuine question: what do the people feel that's gonna happen?
That might help in that circumstance, Bruce, when they drop some bag out of the window.
Maybe there's a wallet in there. Maybe there's an ID with a valid address on it. Maybe that gives the officers some idea.
They think that they're going to get away.
We're not going to where the registered owner is. We're going to maybe this person's address.
That's it.
Wait there ultimately, and maybe they're within this area, that the geographic area where the suspect's been driving.
So the suspect.
Philip.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Philip. As we've seen in these.
So one of the shows it's about glory. Dude, that's what it's about.
And they just go on forever because the suspects don't know where to go. They feel trapped. They don't want to just pull over and surrender. They want their last 5 minutes of freedom.
Well, and this suspect has been now on the run for over an hour. This vehicle, probably 30 minutes or so. So we've had two vehicles involved in one pursuit of a murder suspect. And as Bruce mentioned, they're feeling trapped. This person is feeling trapped not only because of the heavy police presence behind, but Bruce, if you're a murder suspect and you're either out on bail or whatever, how will this affect your ability to get bail? I mean, you've now shown you are. That doesn't matter what the bail is. This person might be held in custody, and they're going to stay there until trial.
No, that's not right.
Yeah, typically
reporters on the ground are telling me that Los Angeles is pro-crime with a pro-crime district attorney, similar to Alvin Bragg, and a pro-crime governor. That's right, Gavin Newsom, the gruesome Newsom, and therefore the suspect will be out on bail immediately.
You know, tri-pit maneuvers to say, hey, we're not going anywhere, so pull over. Let's end this thing.
These liberal courts are not going to convict these people. They will allow them to roam free.
43rd and
free to do the crimes again.
That is probably Hoover. Is that, or if anybody can hear where that street is. But anyway,
they're going to make the suspect mayor. That's how it works in Los Angeles.
One more time. Okay.
The better you are at crime, the higher ranked you are in government.
That's the weaving, trying to get away, but we do think that might be where they got the spike strip at least into the rear tire. As Bruce said, just a slow, steady leak of air, and so now the person that is driving this vehicle has now you see the rubber starting to come off the back. If you look at the
it don't matter
rear wheel on this vehicle, if we get a chance,
it don't matter.
You'll see that the rubber is just.
If this is all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive,
okay, the rubber.
I can't. I don't know if this car is either, but.
So you can see
the main problem with the fucking wheel pop,
if you can imagine,
in a situation like this, obviously it cooks you, but as long as you don't have to turn it, it will keep them going for a while.
Cause damage to the back of that vehicle, and can't really tell there how much is there, but that's got to be unsettling, Bruce, inside the vehicle to start hearing. Oh, okay, there's a lot of rubber that came off. So now you have pretty much nothing on that rear tire. If they did,
if the wheel breaks down the brake rotor,
it's a lot easier.
If the wheel breaks down to the brake rotor, they're fucked.
Yeah,
but it's nowhere near as damaging as it's nowhere near as damaging as like losing the front wheel. You lose your front wheel, you need to turn, you're fucking cooked. You can't turn too much. If you turn and you have your wheel stuck, it starts grinding the rims, as you saw in the first car, and it will burn through it, making the car unusable.
Vendors there on the sidewalks, and you're wanting to pick the proper place if you do try that. And of course, part of this is that this is called a carjacking right now. So if
I don't know why they're considering this a carjacking, because it very clearly is not.
Maybe they know the relationship of all those involved. Maybe it is still a carjacking. It did not appear as if it was to us. That is what law enforcement is calling it. So we believe there are.
They might have stolen the second car.
They have refused to pull over.
They might have. I suspect like the most is like they fucking stole the second car.
Go up onto the median to try to avoid traffic. Now we see again driving into oncoming traffic in the left turn lane, and now going through an intersection, breaking up a little bit. Can't tell if they had the green light, but they still went through without stopping. A little cautionary, but part of the caution is due to the instability of the vehicle. The driver cannot control this vehicle as if it were a perfectly good car. That was a recharged car. Is that what you called it? What would you call it at the beginning, Bruce, when they jumped out of the disabled vehicle and jumped into this one? They had a new vehicle, so to speak.
Yeah, it was basically starting a pursuit from square one. You know, Philip, what's interesting is with the first vehicle, they stayed around the Westchester, LAX area. With the second vehicle, they've gone further north toward the downtown area, south of that. So that leads me to believe that this whole thing may have taken place in that area.
Bro, you fucking hope that those cops don't have
Because
you best believe those cops get one of those fucking power-ups, dude, it's over.
Generally speaking,
they're going to be tossing turtle shells everywhere, left and right, dude.
The person likes to get into familiar space in the sense that maybe they think they can.
Yeah, he needs to get to a paint and spray before.
To a place that they know. So maybe this driver has.
He needs to get to a paint and spray before he gets blue shelled.
Familiar with, or it's possible that the suspect has forced them to go, but it's still, it's still so risky for the community, and it's difficult. They speeding up a little bit.
For people who are saying, why don't the cops just ram into him? Bro, these are all residential neighborhoods. Even the Los Angeles. First of all, he hasn't killed a cop. If he had killed a cop, they would have already riddled him with bullets, regardless of. Whoa! Goddamn, near miss. Oh my God, there was a dude walking. They would have literally fucking unloaded into him if he had killed a cop. This is just a murder suspect. So that's the reason why they're not like as aggressive. And secondly, even LA cops who are gung-ho have the wherewithal to understand that it's probably not the best idea to fucking, get into a major car accident in a crowded side street. You know what I mean?
Well, we've seen now the suspect here navigating through a space, and even though our signal was breaking up a little bit, we saw two pedestrians in the crosswalk.
When Chris Dorner was on the chase, they literally shot into a random pickup truck, hundreds of bullets, into a random pickup truck of a mom and daughter that used to deliver newspapers. They luckily survived.
Because it's not been on the freeway. It's been on side streets.
But, I'm just telling you that story to give you a better understanding of, how cops operate when one of their own is shot at.
Beyond the worry for law enforcement, because they are chasing a murder suspect, which initially we thought they might have a rifle, but it's to the community, because this person,
there's humps coming up. You see that?
Pulling off of Vermont, now you've got a couple more speed bumps in front. So yeah, it has always been, along with this chase, a danger to the community, Bruce, because there's just so many people out and about. And
those are some big ass humps too. You can't be going too fast.
Philip, that is part of the pursuit policies of all departments. They have to give certain factors to the watch commander, who ultimately makes the decision to end this pursuit, cancel it, or let it go. One of the conditions they ask for is road and traffic. What are the speeds? And if the speeds get too high, it's not worth it. If the speed
looking like a police escort, yeah, that's why the chatter said if there was an ambulance in that police escort, this person would be the president. That's how that works.
And with the presence of everyone.
Cops are trained to limit property damage because the damages come out of their budget. It's not because it's dangerous. It's because they'd have to pay for it. I mean, yeah, that too.
Until the car comes to a stop on their own, because it did seem as if there were a couple of opportunities there where there were.
All right, we'll go to something a little bit more serious for now.
This person, but they seem right now to be content to stand right behind and just let this thing play out. Does that tell us anything?
I think maybe law enforcement realizes this is not going to end in any way, shape, or form quickly. So we're just going to have to stay behind and let this play out, whichever way it goes. They're not going to disappear from the pursuit. It's not going to go into a traffic code.
Right, they can't because it's a murder suspect. Yeah.
Correct. You're looking at probably the highest rate felony that there is out there. But in this case, they're chasing a carjacking suspect who is possibly still armed and dangerous. So they cannot allow this person to be out and about in the public.
Yeah, if this is a carjacking, that could potentially be two carjackings, because we don't know the relationship with the two women we saw get out of the truck.
Fuck.
But if they weren't allies, they were carjacked likely. So there's a litany of charges that are involved with.
Like right now, they're going 10 miles. They can easily stop them. No.
Mazda. But
bro, there's
what kind of charges are
okay?
Potentially
Here's a couple
facing
things. They think the suspect has guns. Okay, so they don't want to get into a fucking shootout in a neighborhood. Okay, they don't want to die. That's one thing. Cops care about their own lives and their own safety more than anything else. So first and foremost, they don't want to get fucking shot. So that's number one. Number two, it's a crowded neighborhood, so they don't want to like try and push a car crash in the middle of a crowded fucking neighborhood. It's in their best interest to wait it out, especially now that like people are running up to the street. What the fuck are they doing? Dude, that's so LA. Boomer streamer Hasan, what? Are you okay? The car in the front is the suspect. Why is the heli so far away? Did I miss something? No.
Directly there, the two women kept running by, and it was almost as if
you didn't miss anything.
The passenger side was opened. Hey, you can
it's
get
just
in.
That it's just that they're near LAX,
to get in that
so
side, and
they can't fly everywhere.
This person immediately drove away without hesitation, Bruce. To me, that was also an indication that this person was involved, because they drove away, and they drove away with aggression.
Yeah, you know, Philip, I'm going to use my vast years of law enforcement experience, and you're using your standard issues of deduction.
Fox is still on it.
Carjacking. I think in this case, law enforcement calls it that, but I don't think that's what transpired.
Well, what we're watching,
they're having a hard time.
Is before
they don't have eyes on the
was disabled.
They don't have eyes on the suspect because it's like going through side streets that are
making a U-turn,
hard
driving into left turn lane,
grab,
running around that box truck. Look at this, weaving in and out here. There were a couple of times where they almost hit and then maybe did hit. There is some damage to the vehicle. Eventually, this person was, I believe it was on Imperial. And Bruce had pointed out that when the spike strip went out, and
well, yeah, they are near LAX, so they can't just like fly.
Tried to avoid it. Here it is. They tried to avoid a spike strip, but we think it's at that point that when you pull that spike strip back so that law enforcement doesn't hit it, it sometimes gets the back tire, and we think that maybe
that is a spike strip, yeah,
along the way. It could have been, maybe, Bruce, are there officers on both sides of the road? Maybe they threw one from our right on the screen, and so that's how it got the back tire. Do they throw it from both sides or just one?
Yeah, that's entirely possible. I mean, typically, if there is a medium, obviously the vehicle's going to be on one side or the other. But in a wide open street, they may have deployed two spike strips, forcing the suspect to at least run over one of them. And in this case, the spike strip may have gotten that rear
this is such a
wheel.
Fucking weird ass way to try and grab.
Side of your screen now, that is our second helicopter. Air 7 HD is back with us as we had to refuel one and continue the pursuit. So you see, we're trying to find it again as we continue to look at some of the video there on the right. But we'll get Air 7 back up over this, and we'll get an updated look at where this is, but we've got to believe that it's not going to be long before.
Okay, it's coming up. It's coming up. They're back.
It's the same fate as the
LAX,
Chevy
I think it's Class B airspace, so the helicopter would be limited in the altitude that it can travel in the airspace.
So
it makes
law
sense.
Enforcement there live, and we'll probably
see
the
back.
vehicle coming up here just any moment. But the fate is going to be the same because the rubber is gone from the rear wheel of the Mazda. So now you see them coming right into oncoming traffic, and the good news is that people have stopped at that intersection, but now they've made the turn and they are back on the road. And you'll see the heavy police presence. Everybody will be smart enough to just stop at that intersection. Bruce has made mention of it, and it is to be noted that at this speed, it's a lot better with the disabled vehicle because they're not going through those intersections as quickly and as dangerously.
A great
as they
ad
were
for Mazda.
earlier.
Oh, 100p.
Once we get over it, you'll be able to not have quite the obstruction from the buildings. But again, we have a murder suspect here, and
we're looking for
going to take
a
back
third
and just track this.
vehicle.
They are going.
Chat,
Bruce says they are
be on the
going to
lookout
stay on
for
this.
potentially a third
So, yeah,
vehicle
Bruce, we're being told now
that
he's in
they
the back
might
seat, but we
swap
kinda saw him.
into.
We saw him back there, and somebody's in the front seat with a white T-shirt.
Okay?
Yeah,
That is what
Philip,
is
looking
the
at that
inevitability
footage
here.
again, it's
Judging
almost
by
like
how they've
they were
operated
opening
so
the front
far,
passenger door,
the expectation
maybe
is
for
that
those
they
two
might
women that
get
were running
into
by.
a
Yeah, that's
third
kinda what I was
vehicle,
wondering. And then they just
another
kept running.
swap. They already did the first
Yeah,
swap, as
I
you can
think
see
when we
here.
look at it one more time, that person in the passenger seat opens the door right there and then realized no. And again, that's conjecture.
The immaculate
Bruce, we're not,
Friday vibes are on
just,
point.
You know, looking at video, and this is not. They're not accused. The driver right now of the Mazda is considered, according to law enforcement, a carjacking. It's a carjacking situation, but you know, that doesn't necessarily stop them from. You know, they have to approach this vehicle as if those might be allies.
Fox's pursuit is ass, dude.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know,
How the fuck do people watch Fox News?
And it just doesn't have the issue of a carjacking situation. It may
Wait,
be,
they're saying
and
that
they're
the
gonna treat it as that
primary
because they
suspect
know
in the
for
back
sure it's
has
not.
tattoos on face.
But you're also going to treat everybody in that vehicle as a potential hostage also when the terminus of this pursuit happens.
And so now we're actually able to see the vehicle driving there by the Food for Less with
I don't know what the fuck is up.
Western. And again, Bruce, as you mentioned,
I don't
heading
know
right back to the 105, kind of going
what
back
the hell
to the
is
area,
going on
that they
with
have been
the
in,
patchiness of the
they're
video
further north,
footage.
as you mentioned. They're moving
It's
a little
just
further
like
north,
no
of the
one
airport,
can
but
escape
they've approached the
how
105 several
absolutely
times, just never
dog
gotten
shit
on it.
LA ISPs are.
Yeah, they may be trying to go, you know, maybe this person
You
really
cannot
doesn't know where
escape
they're
it.
going,
It does
and they're
not
trying to
matter.
get back to that
You
Westchester
can never
area.
escape how bad it is.
So you could see that. You could see the difficulty of that back wheel. I mean, it's gone for the most part. But here we are at 1:47. You're watching Eyewitness News. We have broken into coverage of this pursuit, which has been going on since we've been covering it since about 12.
They defunded the police. This is not a police helicopter.
There have been a couple of
This is a news
instances
helicopter.
where the suspect, whether in this vehicle or another, ran into people. But this part of the chase
third
began
vehicle cannot
when
be a
the suspect,
Taycan. Unfortunately,
which
my
is, we
Taycan is
believe,
in the
currently
shop
in
at the
back
moment.
seat, a murder suspect currently in the back seat jumped into this vehicle after the Chevy truck that the suspect was in became disabled and took off with whoever is in that vehicle. And as Bruce mentioned,
Bro, we're watching a murder escape live on TV. No, they're a murder attempted murder suspect.
Potential allies. You see another person coming out, taking.
Bro, look at this guy.
There,
look at him. He's just fucking. He's got the. He's just filming, bro. Everybody in LA.
You can see it coming.
Everyone in LA is like, oh, look at that.
Bruce,
another fucking.
Everybody in the neighborhood is going
another
to know
police chase.
This is happening because it's staying in the neighborhood, and I've got to think it's quite loud with all law enforcement behind this person.
Yeah, not just law enforcement, but you have air law enforcement, you have media helicopters. So there's a whole package that's going along with this pursuit. And people on social media, it's being put out.
Cringe talk vids of you. It was so bad I had to come to the live. What do you mean?
Wow.
Obviously, we don't advise that for safety's sake, but it's human nature.
So here we go now, crossing the median in Gardena area and then back over. And so now you have the suspect again driving into oncoming traffic. You see a couple of pickup trucks on the other side moving out of the way. Bruce, when I see a law enforcement officer follow the vehicle into oncoming traffic, is that to maybe alert people ahead? Because maybe the lights and sirens are easier to see. Why? Or is it a tactic so they can, if they make a left turn, they can stay on them? Why would officers do that as well?
It's multifold, as you're touching on. One, whenever you're driving code 3 with lights and sirens, you do have to obey the vehicle code. However, you are given latitude to be on the wrong side of the road when you can do so safely, as it does shield the officers.
This is a big one. This is a big intersection.
Fiduciary.
Oh, he stopped him.
However, also, it is to keep the suspect with.
This has to be officially one of the longest chases of all that we've ever watched on this broadcast.
Safe, and we're doing it as safely as we can. But it's also maybe to, as you said, alert on.
Send out the tanks as 5 stars.
Lights, flashing blue, flashing red.
Maybe
you hear that siren. That's just the way sound works. So that's probably what.
Also, the driver is a woman. I keep saying he stopped him, but actually it's a she stopped them situation.
I'm shocked that this person is able
That's
to
right.
continue maneuvering.
We have a real girl boss
as possible here, but there is no rubber on that back tire. You saw law enforcement at another intersection that this person went through, so it is certainly possible.
So shouts out to the top G who says women can't be good drivers. Turns out top G was wrong. This female has been driving her ass off the entire time. 2023 is the year of women. Females are driving. They are making incredible getaway drivers.
Unsafe.
Better than Top G.
To this point, but they're certainly still right behind. So now we're going into the left turn lane, passing suspect.
If she had a Bugatti, this would be over.
Redondo Beach Boulevard, passing on the right for somebody who wanted to turn right. Now back over into the left turn lane to go through an intersection. So here we go, and it's dangerous in the sense that there's no rubber on the back tire. Now, they'll be able to steer better, but they won't be able to have their forward momentum as controlled as normal. But again,
thank you for stealing my joke from like 20 minutes ago, my man. Yeah, I totally read it, thought about it for 20 minutes, thought that it would be the perfect time to deploy this joke.
Switching back over and not going into that left turn lane. So it looks as if when they approach the intersections, Bruce, it's just they'll do whatever they need to do to get through the intersection and not have to stop.
Yeah, that's correct. What we haven't seen are some police vehicles trying to get ahead of this to deploy a spike strip.
They did a car swap. Chatters who are just tuning in right now, this is after a car swap.
But they may be coordinating
the Chevy Avalanche lost its front tire.
That spike strip can lock up into the wheel
area
and disable this vehicle quickly.
Oh, we saw that recently when the spike strip just completely wrapped around the tire, and there was just no way for the vehicle to go anymore. And that person tried. They tried to back up. That was the day of the inhalants.
What's the best for a high-speed chase? Any car that's fucking fast, or a bike.
For hours. But that vehicle.
A bike is more dangerous though. Like a motorbike is more dangerous though because high rate of fatality. Oftentimes cops will literally not time. But there isn't a lot of air support here. Hold up. Crowded intersection path.
Well, how many cars do they have?
Achievement unlocked.
88? So they're probably all involved.
And here we are going into that was bad. I didn't interrupt there, Bruce. But now they're on the 190, and then there was a and here we are. When there's a desperation, when she starts to accelerate here, and the vehicle has less control with that back tire gone, but into oncoming traffic. So it just gets to, you start to think of people who are just, innocently standing by here, and this is a busy part of town. It's a difficult spot, and you've got this person. So crossing Van Ness now, and in the left turn lane, but so far has not shown. Okay, now actually turning left. Usually this driver uses the left turn lane to navigate around congestion and then get back on to the right of way. But now
damn, bro,
turn.
She's been fucking ducking and dodging for so long that like the newscasters know her habits now. You know what I mean? Like it's a fucking anime.
Yeah, and so there you are. So there are spots around here where you can actually drive around nicely. You see the LAPD airship above. There might be spots here where you could get a shot at a pit maneuver because, Bruce, I think you make a great point.
Yeah, there's less crowd here.
It has to end.
It's less crowded here. They could probably go in for a pit
the longer
maneuver.
They follow, they're getting more and more information about the people in the vehicle. And let's look there. Can't really tell what I'm. Oh, that's her hand. So that's just her arm on the wheel. But we're learning more and more about whoever's in that car, basically by running the plates. They'll know who the murder suspect is, and by running the plates, they'll know probably who the driver is and how or if they're connected, right? At this point, they've got information.
And even through reverse directories, they may even be calling the cell phone holder and saying, "Okay, hey, let's end this. Pull over. No one."
Bro, look at how dog shit these roads are. Oh my lord, look at how bad those roads are. Oh, LA, dude. LA fucking so rich and yet so fucking ass, dude. Look at these roads. Look at these fucking roads. They don't even need a spike strip for this shit, dude. Look at that. It's cracked to oblivion.
To do a pit maneuver.
And I believe I was told that they're on Delamo now.
I can't get over how.
But here's.
I cannot get over how bad it is. I know I'm getting fucking triggered because like I had to send my car into the shop.
Because you have space there and now back into the regular lane. But
it's additionally insulting because like it never rains here. You know what I mean?
Innocent, just the random cars parked there on the side. You don't want to cause property.
But since it
damage,
did,
but
it's
now we're
over.
turning right. We're able to stay in the lane that they were supposed to be on. We'll get a street for you here in just a second. But the suspect or the driver here, not at high rates of speed. So this is Western Delamo. This is west on Delamo. So if you have
a drain on their resources to that point.
A drain on the resources? Fuck you mean? They got unlimited, bro.
Bruce, and I think
I'll turn up the music a little bit. Don't worry.
Carson now, so I'm sorry I missed the last of what you were saying there, but
it's a real burden on the Los Angeles Police Department resources.
We are interrupting programming. We will of course let you know when General Hospital will air in its entirety.
Oh no, not General Hospital.
Because there is a murder suspect in the back of this
Luna
vehicle.
Lux, thank you for the 5 gifted. KB the Cat Gal, thank you for the 5 gifted. And Chunk Yogurt, thank you for the 5 gifted.
We've confirmed through LAPD
the guy talking about their limited resources, by the way, is of course a cop. Not surprising. Or I believe a former cop. A former cop that actually very fondly recalled a memory of spike stripping another police officer when a burglary suspect was evading them. So just to set the mood for you a little bit, if you want to develop a better understanding of as to why he's saying like their fucking funds are so drained, it's because he's a cop.
So far, Bruce. So maybe they're southbound. So now maybe we're kind of beginning to move back into areas of familiarity for the driver.
He's going back.
Yeah, they may be heading.
And he's slowing down.
Get back over into that Westchester area, or maybe even the area south of downtown. But I think LAPD is definitely weighing the opportunity.
Chill, bro. Oh no.
Maneuver and end this pursuit.
We're getting word. Maybe they might be heading in the direction of Long Beach. Sometimes it's difficult to see, but they're on Vermont, and so now you see that person trying to move out of the way.
They're slowing down.
Slow now.
They're slowing down.
Really gotten a lot slower here. The speed is going to be affected by the inability of anything on that back. So now we have a person getting out.
Oh!
This is so dangerous.
They're getting out!
The person is out. The vehicle is now not being checked. So Bruce, there were 2 people.
What the fuck?
White t-shirt.
It's a foot chase!
So he's taken off. One person.
It's a fucking foot chase! He's a footy!
That is, we believe, the murder suspect who initially got into that Mazda, and he had jumped somehow into.
Holy fuck!
He is running from authorities down the sidewalk. They will be able to know where he is. Okay, now he's got his hands up, but still running. So
wait,
let's see what ends up happening.
Bro, he
is
is
running out of gas, it seems, in this circumstance, getting exhausted. He's coming up to someone's house.
What the
now,
fuck?
This is a potentially dangerous situation if he can get into that house. They have two men in front who have moved out of the way. So officers are now trying to get the suspect to get on the ground. These two people have walked away. The suspect looks to be in front of the garage behind those two vehicles there. They're trying to get him away from that, I would assume, Bruce, and it looks as if he's refusing to obey commands. He is certainly not getting down on the ground. You see his hands up, but he is not doing what they say at this point. You see less than
okay, bro, chill. It's Jover. It's Jover. It's Jover.
Could be a green weapon there now. So some of the officers do have guns trained on this person, but he's not turning around. Bruce, should he be on the ground now or turned around? What do you think the officers are trying to get him to do?
You know, they're probably trying to get him to lay on the ground. So at that point, they can proceed.
Yeah, it's Jover.
Custody with some control, pain compliance holds, a knee in the small of the back, grabbing a hand, putting it behind his back.
It's Jover.
And that is what they've done. So he did go and finally comply, and he is in custody now. So it does appear, after our conjecture that there might be three people in the vehicle, that it does appear there were
Bro,
two.
what is this person doing? They're just checking out.
And we were seeing his white T-shirt in the front seat. We did see a woman get out of the vehicle, and she ran away while the vehicle was moving, which, of course, brings back thoughts of the incident a couple of weeks ago where the person got out of the vehicle at about 50 miles an hour. So this woman was able to get out of the vehicle. You see, now they're going to try to clear the rest of the vehicle, make sure no one else is in it.
Holy fuck.
The car did come to a stop there on the center median. Vehicles are still able to get around. We're just going to stay with this just for a second to make sure that they can clear the vehicle. So two people were apparently in that vehicle, as is what authorities had said. So we thought that somehow there was another person in the vehicle, but it wasn't. There were two in there. One ran away, and we do believe that person was probably taken into custody by authorities. They jumped out of the car while it was moving, both the driver and the person we believe who was a murder suspect. So at 2:06 now, I believe we'll probably wrap this up. So we're going to wrap this up and let you watch General Hospital. You see that the murder suspect is in custody. They will sort through all of the charges this person faces.
I'm pretty sure there was a third person, bro. I'm not even kidding.
The driver of the Mazda and the two people that
I'm not even kidding. I feel like there was a third person, and I think they got away.
Details on all of that. I'm Philip Palmer. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, there were three people, bro. There were three people. Brother, there were three people. These guys are wrong. There's definitely a third person, and they definitely got away. The actual suspect, I'm pretty sure, was sitting in the back seat. The front seat was occupied by both the getaway driver. I'm not even kidding. They're wrong. You know, the driver reached across to open the door to invite the women in. You think that's what happened? No, there's no way. You think he just climbed to the fucking front? No way, bro. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Let's replay that. Let's play it back. The driver is the getaway driver.
On that back. So now we have a person getting out. This is so dangerous. The person is out. The vehicle.
She gets out.
Is now not being checked. So that
he gets out and starts running.
People, and he was wearing white.
Fuck, they don't show the rest of the car. I thought there was a third. I thought there was like a
white T-shirt. That's the suspect that we saw. So he's taken off. One person is running away. This person.
Wait, what the fuck is that?
Is now on the run.
Hold on. Rewatch the car change. They get in the backseat for sure. Yes, they did, but they could have actually hopped into the front seat during the chase. The suspect is now running backwards in an effort to confuse the police. You can't really tell.
Check. So that is.
Is there movement in the back seat? That's the real question.
Out the
Well, you can't really tell. Just go back to see what he was wearing when he got in the car. He was wearing a black shirt. The person in all black that did the car swap ducked the opposite way of the person they just arrested. I don't think they got caught. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding with you when I say this. $21 million. I'm pretty sure they fucking...
That car definitely...
Oh my God, that's a down-ass fool, dude. That is a down-ass fool. Holy shit. He got the high socks. He's got the Jinkos. Oh my God, he's got it all. Look at them shorts, dude.
Nice hit from that avalanche earlier on.
Okay. Whoo, sheesh. Okay, let's take a look at this angle here.
But the fact that changed itself, should have got gas before I picked this guy up. Maybe. Let's see what's going on up. The door's opening up.
Okay.
Door's opening up. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, that was
out of a moving vehicle.
Okay.
There's somebody else there.
It doesn't seem like there's anyone else in the car. I guess there was only 2 people in the car. Yeah. Police Chase Network, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream, Police Chase Network. I love that she has her purse on her too. She's like, she's not even running. She's like walking back. Okay. So, go back to the car swap. This is not the same guy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not. Let's see if I can find the OG car swap here.
Seems to be one of the roads that you think into the airport to try to escape.
This is like right around when he had to do the car swap.
Going and look at
Oh, they did the car swap here. Okay, so here, look.
truck is slowing down now.
That other car. Oh, it is. Wait, that's not him. Bro, that's not him. I was right. That's him. That's the guy. That's a different guy. No, that's the guy.
2, 3. Oh, he's trying to carjack.
Bro. Is he wearing the same? Wait, hold on. He might have just put different pants on or something. The 2 ladies just run away. He gets in the back seat of the car. I guess the driver opens the door, but then closes it. No, how? How would he open the door and be able to pull it while he's driving? It's the same pants looks when he runs the second time. His jacket is black plus white shirt. Automatic doors, no shot. I guess the momentum probably closed the door. Same guy, dark hoodie, white tee, curly brown hair, driver leaning over. Okay. All right. I'll admit I'm wrong. I thought.
There they go. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know. Are those the same pants, dude? He's got like a hoodie on, and that's fine. He takes the hoodie off.
It looks like for some reason the truck is slowing down now.
Let's play the speed.
Yeah.
Thank God you are not an officer. Yeah, I'd be the best. I let him get away with it. They're pro club shorts, foo. He jumps over that median so quick. Hands in the air. Gets in the back. Probably probably went up to the front afterwards. All right, there it is. Okay. Can we talk about how they had a whole different car that they had set up? What a plan. Yeah, it was pretty incredible. I think the driver closed because they started driving. Yeah. I think the door closed because they started driving. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they got him. Go live, they found another person? No, they didn't. Shut up.
$1 million in your
This is such a weird way to...
Ooh, I'll take that. Sure. Sounds good to me. 9:08 almost here.
Who opened the passenger door? The driver could have reached over. The driver could have reached over.
The day here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Pacey, as we continue to bring you these top stories. I do want to hit on another major one that we brought to you earlier this morning, and we want to continue to get an update out of Florida, where two suspects...
Bro, she fucking drove with flip-flops, by the way, which is crazy. Another win for Law and Order, but another L for America. It's also an L for crime, which we are fond of here. But now that we're done with that crime, let's get back to this kind of crime. That's right. We're doing some serious news coverage here at the Hasanabi News broadcast.
Damn, this guy's good.